Hello and welcome everybody to the Anti-Think Tank, episode 27. We didn't talk about how we are like quarter of 100, but we've lasted quite some time at this point. Last week we had one of our biggest episodes yet. I think our second largest with Shane Gillis on SNL, Forrest Gump, talking about games, all that shit.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we had to trade a soul for that because Akira Toriyama fucking died.
Listen, I don't know if those 300 views were worth losing Akira Toriyama.
I don't think my return was worth that either.
Like, you came back, and then we got like 400 views, and one of the greatest icons of media history just left the planet. Like, I think that we need to look at the, like, what's it called? The chat logs and see what date you actually sent the message to return. Because I'm pretty sure he had like a brain hemorrhage, like a week before they actually announced it. So I don't know when the fuck that was.
Man,
He could sense it. He could sense I was coming back, and he just couldn't handle it.
bro, he could feel his chi, man's chi was off. Now, like let's for just a moment, I could make so many Dragon Ball references about throwing this man a senzu bean, but like realistically, some could see that as disrespectful. I see it as legit, like that. Like think about it, because of this man, stuff like Kamehameha and senzu bean, like that's just in the public lexicon. That's just things that people say now, like. And that man was responsible for it. He created such a creative and fun story, enjoyed by quite literally billions of people.
Yeah. Like, Mexico was having parades with Latinas in Saiyan armor. Like, he made something beautiful.
Did you hear that that several Mexican cartels called for a ceasefire?
I mean, I thought it was a joke when I read it, but
you can look into it. I've heard from a couple of different people, and we looked at the articles. I think that a bunch of cartels may have just stopped killing each other for a day.
Akira Toriyama cartel ceasefire. The first thing that comes is Sparks' joke that Mexican cartels agreed to cease fire in honor of late artists, and it didn't actually happen. It's just
We can't say for sure that there wasn't at least one mob boss, named Luis who decided to ceasefire. I choose to believe that at least one.
Oh, there was definitely like
Yeah,
some guy about to get
news.
fucking gunned down, and the news broke, and he's just like, "Go away! It's not even worth it anymore."
Go away! And then he just puts the gun to his head, and then just does it. Man,
Just puts the gun to his head, like closes his eyes real tight, getting ready. Just no, it's not what he would have wanted.
oh man, it's time. All I know is it's time to collect. It's time to collect the Dragon Balls. It's time to collect the Dragon Balls because as far as I know, you can only bring someone back from the dead once with the Dragon Balls. But if we get the ones from Namek, we can bring Toriyama back as many times as we wish.
Yeah, we just need to find a bunch of fucking green, like, slug aliens out in the middle of the fucking... they've got to be somewhere. We have an infinitely large universe. There's one planet out there that has some fuck shit on it that we can bring Toriyama back with.
We'll figure it out. We'll make it our life's work. Oh man, I just yeah. The whole thing it did make me very sad. He is truly an icon, very important for legitimizing the medium, and he had a whole lot of fun with the story. Basically, he is basically to shonen what J.R.R. Tolkien was to fantasy. Like he solidified almost every shonen trope we have.
Yeah, and then like, I got you into Ruby the same week that Rooster Teeth got shut the fuck down.
Rest in peace,
Yeah.
Rooster Teeth.
I'll never
It was a
forget
rough
my first
week.
ever I'll never forget my first ever exposure to Rooster Teeth. I was a young lad in high school, and if anything, I was more into Achievement Hunter than the actual main company. And for the longest time there, I didn't know what fucking Rooster Teeth was, but I knew what Achievement Hunter was.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
well, for one, there's tons of stuff that like I didn't even know that Rooster Teeth was connected to. Like Devil Artemis, who makes the Cell and Kermit versus videos, used to work for Rooster Teeth. Like that was an offshoot of their company.
Yeah, Rooster Teeth, unfortunately, was kind of a piece of shit company. Like, there's tons of people who have talked about just how bad it was to work at Rooster Teeth.
Mm.
But, you know, it's kind of like talking about Studio Mappa in that you gotta respect the shit that they made, but also say, yeah, you kept just taking on more projects way sooner than you had the growth to be able to. And you don't have anything to back up the actual monetization of these things. Like, Ruby being one
Also,
of, if not the biggest, like, barring now Has Been Hotel, like, online, like, indie cartoon
Mhm.
for nearly a decade and having almost no merchandise. Like, that's a cardinal sin. That should not be allowed to happen.
It's
They should be
absolutely
selling,
insane.
like,
also,
Crescent, like, all the fucking unique weapon designs in that. Like, those could be Nerf guns or some shit. Like, you could be making bank selling that as, like, just merchandise.
100%.
also, I want to add this little bit about Rooster Teeth. So I've been looking more into it. I mean, we all know why they failed, of course, but I was looking more into like what the community feels about it. And now here's what I've learned.
Okay.
Um, so on the Rooster Teeth subreddit, there are people that they want an open debate as to what they think caused the downfall of Rooster Teeth, right?
Mhm.
And this one gentleman has posted on the subreddit saying that he believes that the reason why they failed, one of the reasons why they failed, the biggest reason why they failed is because, for the past 10 years, if you were to ever give them any side of criticism that was legitimate, they'd be like, hey, this ain't doing so well. I think you guys should really do this. It was always met with "fuck you, you're a troll, you're a hater, we're not gonna listen to you. Yeah. You're here to fuck shit up. You're here to cause chaos." When in reality, they're just voicing their opinions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, this post was banned on the subreddit. Literally, not even like 4 or 5 hours after it was posted, one of the bots took it down.
Dude, like that is extremely toxic.
And then
That's-
the same person made another post on the subreddit, pretty much saying that you guys deleting this or taking it off is the exact proof and what I'm talking about, right? So another moderator comments saying that like calling him a hater and calling him a shit talker, and they eventually wind up taking the whole post down altogether again.
Mhm.
Like there is no wonder why this fucking company failed.
I will say there's. I don't think that the Reddit moderators being Reddit moderators is like why a company would fail. I think that it has to do more like the monetization and everything else. But yeah, Ruby and Rooster Teeth in general have fan bases that are just, to put it bluntly, uh, if there was like a math problem in front of me and I had to trust like the guinea pig in the back of a PetSmart that has been abused and given like lead to eat for the last 2 weeks, or your average Rooster Teeth fanboy, I'm taking my bet on the guinea pig.
Good God. Yeah,
Also, I will say this though. I will say this. So we're all familiar with Mr. Bernie Burns, right? The one of the founding members of Rooster Teeth, correct?
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's very odd how he decided to leave the company in 2020. Just out of nowhere, just decided to leave the company. Like, honestly, knowing how not so long ago that was, he had to have seen the writing on the wall. He had to have.
absolutely.
I mean, the writing was on the wall the moment they got picked up by Warner Brothers. Like, that's a death sentence no matter what you are. Fucking Cartoon Network didn't survive that shit.
Yeah, Warner Brothers like.
Well, they're still going though. That's the thing.
No, Cartoon Network, the whole studio is shut down. Like they're basically like a puppet company now. Like,
Damn.
I didn't know about all that.
yeah,
I don't know that either.
yeah. The sign on the Cartoon Network office was taken off. They've been merged into Warner Brothers Animation. Like Cartoon Network's fucking dead.
Good God.
It's been months. Like it happened during our little Christmas break, I think.
Good
Thank you,
Lord.
Warner Brothers, for making everything worse.
For sucking all kinds of butt. Thanks a lot, guys.
They could at least give us like another Animaniacs or some shit before they shot us.
I know, right?
I've never seen a single episode.
What the fuck you talking about?
I mean, I ain't never seen an episode of the Animaniacs. I've heard it's good though.
Well, you need to get into fucking watching it 'cause it's a fucking great show.
Okay, Justin, the amount of times you've like forced us to get into shit and then immediately ignored all the shit we suggest to you, like we're calling a fucking meeting here, okay? We're not watching a single episode of Ed, Edd n Eddy until you start at least one fucking anime, okay?
or at least listen.
Oh, all right, well then you guys have fun with not watching Ed and Eddie then.
Okay. I've
So
listened.
you're just racist then.
Say what?
You're just racist then.
How am I racist?
Like, there's gotta be a reason for you to hate the Japanese this much to just...
No, I've legit watched like the first couple seasons, maybe a couple episodes of certain types of anime, and I just can't get into it.
We watched like 7 episodes of Chainsaw Man, and you said you really liked it and would like to continue watching it, and then just never showed up again. You're lying in one of these 2 scenarios, motherfucker.
I mean, because you clearly like animation. You clearly like animation. You watch tons of it. It's just when the Asians make it.
Ed,
No,
Edd n
it's
Eddy
not.
is not the peak
What
of
the fuck?
literature.
Defend yourself, son. Well, technically, he already defended himself,
guess-
and we're still berating him. So,
Exactly.
no, like you got to give us.
No,
something.
it's just like maybe.
I listened to the Uno Dos
ma-
Tre trilogy for you, Justin. You owe us something. My God.
Listen,
This is
I
the
guess
law of
my point
equivalent
of view is that
exchange.
my point of view is that I just, like you said, Chainsaw Man, it was good. I liked it. But I guess, like, if, I don't know, like, I'm the kind of guy that just sticks with what I like the most, what I keep, like, and not only that, but just, it's hard for me to get into new shows because I don't have the time to watch new shows.
He does make a point. He does still watch the same stuff
No,
that
he
he's
doesn't.
watched for the last 20 years, which I can't fault him. There's some
Yeah.
people like their comfort.
No, he doesn't. That's not a point. The fuck are you talking about?
I think it's
Like-
I think it's a point. I think it's a point.
Like, he starts off saying, I've tried a shit ton and I haven't liked any of them. No, I actually like Chainsaw Man. I just don't have the time for it. Like,
Both can be true.
you're using this, like,
You
you have the time. You
Listen,
just
I'm just
refuse.
saying, I'm just saying, it wasn't good enough for me to continue watching, to, like, actually take the time to do it on my own.
The man speaks truth.
Where's my gun?
But it's true though. I've been watching the same shit for the past 20 years. Like realistically, like I haven't seen an episode of Gravity Falls. I haven't seen I've seen some Adventure Time and some regular show. Literally, my shows consist of this. Okay, it's regular show, Ed, Edd n Eddy. That's about it really for TV. Like I don't really watch anything. Oh, Kitchen Nightmares.
I'm saying you
And
need
everything
to
else is
broaden, like, you need to broaden your horizons. Like, you have shot yourself in the foot
This is
so hard.
I mean, I kind of can see where Justin's coming from. I mean, some people like having something that, brings them back to a certain memory.
Comfort show.
Brings them back to a certain memory of
comfort-
something.
Yeah, comfort shows are fine. Like, you can fall back on a piece of literature all you want. I'm just saying that completely shutting everything out that isn't those comfort shows is A, not healthy, and B, very much hurting yourself in the long run because you just completely and totally stop yourself from enjoying new forms of media or new, like, franchises that you could enjoy in the future.
Well, it is also kind of the same
Again-
with Justin with music as well. Like, it's difficult to get Justin into music as well. It's got to scratch a very specific itch.
It really does. But no, like I guess when it comes to just TV shows in general, like, here's the thing: I can watch a new film every day. Like if I was given, like, hey, can you watch all of these indie films? Like I can do that. But it's just when it comes to like a series, there's a level of dedication to watching a series,
Okay.
like a level of
This-
commitment that you have to keep watching it to follow the story. While a film is just one piece of media.
I can see that. Maybe we should just watch more movies together then.
So, like, I'm cool watching movies. Like, I can watch movies every day. But, like, when it comes to trying to keep up with a series or an anime that goes on for multiple episodes, multiple seasons, like, unless it scratched that really certain itch, I'm just not going to watch it because I have no time to watch it. Or no interest to actually keep committed to it.
I have to disagree because of the fact that, like, a story beat in a movie does not feel nearly as earned as a story beat in a series because of just the time and development that each of the characters in the story has to make. Like, not going into, like, specific spoilers of shows and such, but, like, when a character dies in, like, a long-running series, like, you've had so much more time to actually get attached to the character that you legitimately feel a sense of loss. Whereas in a movie, like, it can be sad, but you don't feel the same sense of tragedy that you would whenever you're actually, like, fully attached to a character.
This is completely true. I do agree with that, though I also think that from Justin's perspective, he enjoys like different things about movies. Like he enjoys like the actual filmmaking aspect and a lot of the like tertiary aspects of it, like the sound design and things of that nature.
I've stopped trying to convince Justin at this point. I just don't want people in the audience agreeing with his philosophy. This is me telling the audience that you shouldn't just shoot yourself in the foot and, like, condemn yourself to fucking 80 years of watching the Ed Boys. Like, that's... I enjoy Ed, Edd n Eddy, but that sounds like hell. Like, that sounds like the fifth fucking layer. Just sitting there and watching the same thing every day for
No,
years at a
don't shit
time.
on the Ed Boys. Man's shitting on the
I'm
Ed
not
Boys for no
shitting on the
reason.
Ed Boy. Dude, you could have the perfect
Man.
medium, the best piece of art of all time, but if you stare at it every single day, eventually you're gonna be like, I fucking hate this thing. I want it gone.
I don't know. I mean, I'm
This
going...
stands as
ever
a
since we got
symbol.
Listen, ever since we got HBO Max, I've watched an episode of Ed, Edd n Eddy every single day, at least once a day.
Okay, I was on Justin's side this entire conversation, but that's a bit much. That's a lot of Edward.
I understand it's a bit much, but like I understand it's a bit much, but like at the same time though, it's just like I guess the reason why I keep doing it and I keep watching the same show over and over again, especially Ed, Edd n Eddy, is that Ed, Edd n Eddy is one of those shows where like it's 2 episodes in a 30-minute runtime, and if like for instance for me when I come home from work, I don't have time to sit there and watch a full film, and Ed, Edd n Eddy, like I can see one episode and realistically it's 2 15-minute episodes and I'm done for the night.
Why not? You can put that same logic on any other show, though. Like, it doesn't have to be Ed, Edd n Eddy. Like, you could pick up a new
But
show
when it
and
comes to
then
Ed, Edd n
watch
Eddy-
30 minutes. Like, you can watch 30 minutes of a show and then pick up another episode the next day. Like, most people watch shows week to week.
That part is true.
That is true, but at the same time though, it's that level of never wanting to change, a level of comfort that I just can't escape.
Well, I think that I think that like on a
Do you?
like on a realistic standpoint, I think that when it comes to this, that is both something I do understand and something I do feel like it would be nice if you would, could like try to get out of it, like try to branch out a little bit. Because like the other day, I was going to bed, so I watched an episode of Frasier, an episode of Beavis and Butthead, and then like just I put on the Jackass movie, and it was great. Like I got all these different stories, and I got it, and like I felt like I was, having fun with a lot of different stuff. And I don't know. I don't know. I mean, personally, I just think that that's the way to go, because like there's just so many different people and minds out there, and no one creates art the same. And that's just the way I see it, I suppose.
Like, don't get me wrong. I understand having a comfort show. Like, rewatching shit later on is one of the best choices. You can see things you didn't see in like previous watch throughs and everything else. But there's a certain point when it just becomes like I said, just shooting yourself in the foot in terms of like coming to different perspectives on entertainment. Like you lose out on like philosophical arguments, just a shit ton of different perspectives in life, and just genuine fun and entertainment by only sticking to like one thing. Like I said, I'm not gonna think less of you if you just decide to keep watching Ed and Nettie forever. I just think that's a sad life. Like, I don't think less of you for it.
Granted,
I just pity.
most of my content enjoyment when it comes to like film series, it's mostly films, like movies.
Yeah.
Like here's the thing, I watch movies and YouTube content more than I do like actually full blown series. Like when it comes to YouTube content, again, it also depends on the creator, and a lot of times that just piques my interest more than watching a full-fledged series. Like, for instance, I don't mind waiting every fucking year for a new JonTron video to drop. Okay?
Because it's always fire. It's always
But when
fire.
it drops, it's always fire. It's always fucking great. Or back in the heyday of Cinemassacre, when AVGN was really great. Lately, it has not. I haven't watched a single episode.
I think he's still good.
But,
I still watch all this stuff. I think it's good.
And like there used to be a little short series on YouTube called Port Center, which was a guy covering video game ports from every single console and how shitty they were. Like, also the Somo guys had their own little show there for a while. But like, I don't know. It's just, when it comes to a series, the episodes have to be incredibly short for me. Like 15 minutes, maybe less than that. And if it's not that, I'd rather watch a film that's an hour and 30 minutes. And like, I understand your whole concept of like, watching the same show over and over again, like TV show, shoots to the foot. You're missing out on all these great stories, but I can get those stories maybe a little more in a different way than in a film. Like, I understand I'm missing out on that whole, like, if a character dies, it's gonna be a more impactful death. But at the same time, if a writer can make a death more impactful in a hour 30-minute film, and that's the entire story, then there's something to be said about that.
There is something to be said about that. I think so. But some of the deaths that have affected me the most are from films, I would say. I think that there's something to be said about that.
My issue is when you say that you can get the same story from film. You can't. The medium in which a story is told.
Different.
I don't think there's any.
Yeah, but you can't get this. I mean, you can't get the same story though.
Okay, my thing is like I don't think there's any like. I think Justin's made his point clear. I think, even though like we have a different way of doing things, I think I can relate and understand. It makes sense. My only thing is, I do kind of wish it's like. Over the years, I have like watched a lot of stuff and listened to a lot of stuff from you, and you generally don't take recommendations back. Like, this is all just spawning from you not listening to the White Stripes.
It really is.
This whole thing, I listened to hundreds of hours of music at your behest, so much music, and it's great, and we talked about it, and I was like, all right, buddy, my favorite band of all time, just listen to 5 albums, and you couldn't do it. And they're good albums.
Yeah, to put in the context for people listening, I remember telling Ian that he really needs to listen to Bad Religion. And he's like, yeah, if I do that, you can listen to the White Stripes. And I just haven't done it, and I'm a bad friend for not doing it. But to put in perspective, To put perspective, the White Stripes only has 5 albums, while Bad Religion has what's the number?
I think they have 23.
They have like 17, 15, I think.
I would still closer to 20. Like I would say like 17. No.
Yeah.
Keep in mind,
Just-
I loved them to absolute death. That I would say that the Descendants are like one of my favorite bands of all time. And you got me into Green Day, and I listened to all of the Weezer stuff. So I'm not meaning to imply that. I just think that maybe in the future, as a buddy, you could put forth some effort to check out some of our stuff sometimes. That's all I'm saying.
Like, just to put in perspective what it sounds like, Justin, from the outside, like, when it comes to the TV series thing, it's like, yeah, I like the movie The Thing. I'm gonna watch The Thing a lot. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna watch The Thing once per day for the next 32 years.
To be fair, that sounds fire.
There's a certain
That sounds
point
fire.
where-
That sounds great.
There's a point where it just becomes worrisome, where it's like, are you okay? Like, I don't want you to sit there in the middle of like a mansion, like 40 years from now, writing down all work and like only Ed and Eddie makes me a dull boy. Only Ed and Eddie makes me a dull boy. Please, God, just lock me in the ice maze. Kill me now.
Justin is not going to get the Shining ending. We would all be lucky enough to get the Shining ending. Also, like
This is a fucking foreshadowing, dude. It's not gonna be 40 years, and it's gonna be next week or so.
I think we've all made our point. I definitely understand both sides, but yeah, I think it's good to venture outside your comfort zone, but it ain't hurting. It ain't exactly hurting anyone. Let's see. Yo, what the shit? Give me 2 seconds. There is a gigantic roach on my wall.
Oh boy, he gets to die first.
I'm gonna eat it.
I wouldn't do that if
Film
I
it.
were you.
I'm gonna eat it.
Man's out here sounding like Mike Klum. I need an ending for my documentary, Eat the Poisoned Bug.
I need an ending for my documentary.
Dude.
I'm gonna pay this woman to marry this man who's gonna die in 2 years because it would be funny.
Dude, speaking of Mike Klum, apparently he's working on a new documentary about EDP 445.
What? What?
Apparently. Because Boogie and EDP 445, Boogie interviewed him and tried to get him, or try to quote unquote get him to confess to what he did. That way they can convict him and shit. But Mike Klum was a part of it apparently.
Oh my god. We got to get him back on the podcast. Scrub that part where he made fun of it.
No,
I don't
we
think he'll
don't.
ever
I
come
don't-
back on this podcast.
I don't want to be attached to him after he said that, like, he wanted an ending to his documentary, and, like, Boogie, like, suggested doing shrooms. Yeah, that'd be a great ending to it. Go.
And we were so starstruck. We were so starstruck and just like respectful. They were like, "Yeah, that makes sense."
Oh, yeah. Every documentary needs a story. No, that's not how a documentary works.
Are we getting into it? If we're getting into it,
Apparently
then we're getting into
though,
it. Go on.
apparently
It's
I
up
will
to
say
you
this.
guys.
I did hear about
I'm down to get into it. Like,
Yeah. Oh, go on, Justin.
I did hear about this recently. Also, I believe DSP Gaming had actually reached out to Mike Klum for a documentary, and they were in the works of doing it until DSP just closed it all down. He said, "Fuck it, I'm not doing it anymore."
yeah, that sounds like Darkside Phil.
I don't know much about Darkside Phil. Sorry.
He's just like, so all like the framings and shit in the Boogie documentary that looked really bad.
Yes.
That's just what Darkside Phil actually is.
Oh my
Like,
god.
he wouldn't need to reframe anything.
Good lord.
Except he's actually somewhat financially successful, and I don't understand it.
Good lord, yeah.
At least
Is he though? Would
comparatively.
you consider him as would you consider him as financially successful, or he just begging? He begs every day, and do you actually think he only makes that much money?
No, like, I'm saying compared to Boogie.
Ah,
This
Like,
is fair.
he can actually support himself. Granted, that's because he doesn't have the health issues, but, you know, he can support himself.
Like I said, I do not know much about him, but I don't know if Mike makes another documentary. I guess I guess it'll be an interesting time. Hopefully he won't. Hopefully he won't drive the mentally ill man to do. Let's get into it. I want to get into it just a slight bit.
And, like, go ahead. All of this, by the way, you can see on the episode of like our interview with Mike Klum. We'll link it down below. You can draw your own conclusions. Like, this is us looking back on the interview and going, "Oh, wait a minute, he said some pretty fucked up shit in there."
It's like, yeah, okay. So a while ago we did an interview with Mike Klum. It was pretty fun. He's a guy. He made a documentary on Boogie2988, and then like he said a couple of like kind of weird suspect things, and then the next day we got on a Discord call and we were like, wait a minute, like, are we tripping, or was some of that stuff he said like kind of like actually weird? And like I said, if you want to watch the episode and make your conclusion about it, you can. But he essentially it kind of seems like he treated Boogie like a character in a book he was writing and had to like enforce tragedy on him for a character arc, and it's just kind of gross.
Yeah, like he outright says like, "Yeah, I needed like a journey for this character to make." Or something along those lines. It's been quite a while since we've done the interview, so if we misquote, like, we're just trying to get like the general feel of what he said. Go check out the episode, like, all that stuff, to make sure that everything is actually absolutely accurate. Draw your own conclusions, etc., etc. But having him say, like, you should try out and potentially get addicted to psychoactive drugs because I need an ending to my documentary. Like, it sickened me deeply. Like, it felt evil.
And like I said, it didn't. If you watch the video and say, "Oh, you guys are hypocrites," you agreed with him in the video. It legitimately did not hit us until the next day. Like all three of us had kind of the same experience.
Like, me and Ian were just in a call, and then, like, we were listening to it, like, talking to him, and then, like, he would say something like, wait a minute. Did he say...
What did he say?
No, there's no fucking way, right?
What about you, Justin?
And then-
Anything you want to say?
Not really. I mean, the more I look back on it, though, like I'm gonna play devil's advocate here for a minute. I'm not gonna try to defend what happened and defend what's going on, whatever. But like that moment where Mike Klum said that Boogie had brought up wanting to do shrooms, right?
Mhm.
I mean, more or less, Boogie had already mentioned that he was gonna do it, and he'd say, "Hey, I'm gonna do this. What do you think about that?" Like trying to get Mike's opinion on it, and Mike probably just said, "Yeah, fuck, sure, let's go, let's try it, let's do it." So I imagine it wasn't like he forced him to do it, but it's more or less just Boogie brought it up, and Mike's like, "Fuck it, why not?"
I can.
Was
I
it
mean,
right? I don't know.
Can
I can't.
I argue against the
I
devil's
can't answer that for
advocate?
Boogie.
Like, can I, like, argue against the devil's advocate here? Like, I know it's not you making
Sure,
the
go ahead.
argument, but, like, even in that instance, you should not encourage the mentally ill man to do psychoactive drugs. Even if he's, like, saying to do it, you should step in, like, as a moral, like, agent and say, no, you should not form an addiction.
I think like okay, so the way I'm looking at it, let's say that for whatever reason Justin was making a documentary on the history of my life from the moment he met me at Arby's, and then in like 20 years, like the gambling got me, the gambling addiction finally got me, and I gave in, and I have nothing. I win the lottery and then I lose it all. And then Justin decides he wants to make a documentary on me. If towards the end of the documentary, when I'm starting to get better, I say, "Hey Justin, let's go to the casino." If I got like $5 and I was like, "Let's go to the casino," that would be great. And Justin was like, "Yeah, let's go, buddy." Like, if Justin didn't step in and say something, that I think that would border on evil.
Yeah, like
Okay,
you are a moral agent.
That's
in
a
that
different scenario, though. That's a different
No,
scenario
not
though,
really.
because Boogie was addicted to drugs beforehand.
Okay,
But
just
Ian's
because he hadn't
suspicion-
hit the
Ian's
crack
suspicion is-
pipe before, like it's still bad.
I'm only looking back at it only because of the more recent. I say more recent videos I saw from Boogie. Not saying I saw his latest video, but like a recent video he uploaded right after the Mike Klum video was that he gave an update on his I forgot what he called it, the spiritual way of talking about doing shrooms, whatever, and he says it's bettered his life.
Dude,
doing
do you
medical
know how many
mushrooms.
drug
And
addicts
so
say that shit?
I'm just going off what he says.
Yeah, but look, I've known a lot of addicts throughout my life, okay? I was born to a family that has a massive drug problem. My father died of a drug overdose. Like, my cousin drug overdose. Like, there have been so many people in my family that have overdosed, and almost each and every one of them did it because, and I quote, it helps them get through the day. Like, it is an evil, evil thing. There is no argument that can be presented that is like, yeah, I convinced this man or like supported him in getting into drug abuse. Like, even if it is mushrooms, which like it would take a significant amount or like a mistake to die from, it is still an addiction that can fuel and go into other drug abuse addictions. There's not like a moral good here.
I definitely err more
I-
on that side. Go on.
Again, I'm only going based off of what I hear and whatever. Again, I can't judge the man. It's his life. He can do whatever the fuck he wants to do with it. It's whatever. And like in that instance, like even though it does seem morally wrong for Mike Klum to not step in and say, "Hey, Boogie, maybe you shouldn't do this," like really is not his place because it's not his life.
That's very dangerous way of going out. Like, if somebody is potentially doing something that could damage them permanently, and you don't step in and at least advise them not to, you are at least slightly culpable in that. In that you could have at least somewhat, like if he had suggested, no, you shouldn't do that, and then Boogie did it anyway, that's not Mike's fault. But the fact that he encouraged it, or at least was an agent of neutrality, that becomes like a moral negative to me.
My thing is not the impassiveness. My thing was more and the thing that's bothered me, my thing was the enthusiasticness, which that's a thing that I've carried with me from that video for a while now, is the enthusiasticness he presented with some of the stuff, and in my opinion, the complete disconnect from the concept that he was filming an actual human. That and he made fun of our podcast, and it made me kind of sad. Like, remember when he went on that thing where he was like, "Yeah, one of my favorite things to do is just like to go to YouTube and like find accounts with like really low subscribers where they're like making shitty videos and just like laugh at them." And in the moment we were like, "Oh yeah, that's so funny." And then later on we were like, "Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute." He's talking about us. He's talking about us.
Technically, though, I don't think it was that comment that kind of rubbed me the wrong way. It was the you have no making fun of us not having video on the podcast. It's like, dude, like a lot of podcasts are audio only.
Yeah, and like even if we did want to do a video, which we definitely might in the future, we just started out like that comment was just kind of out of left field, So
Like, I have more.
Which, keep that in mind. That statement that Ian said just blew me the fuck away. The fact that at that time we were just starting out pretty much, and we managed to get Mike Klum on the fucking podcast. The more I think about it, the more fucking mind blowing that is.
It made me extremely happy at the time. I think it was a very, very, a fun time,
Yeah.
the thing that happened.
Yeah, this isn't like, I don't think that Mike Klum is like an evil person. I think that he made some mistakes in the creation of the Boogie documentary, and the mistakes that he made, that he admitted to, like, on our fucking show, are legitimately disgusting to me. Like, I don't believe that somebody can be just, like, immune to change, or like looking back and saying that it was a mistake, or like it could have been like he misspoke or something like that. But the way that he put it, like, he corrected himself multiple times and like doubled down on some of like the worst shit that he said on it. Like when we were talking about how he just, like, he said like he has like a competitive thing where he likes to watch like shitty small YouTubers and companies and just kind of like basically make fun of like how he would do it differently. And like,
But Ryan, did you not say in that same video that's your shit too?
do you? Let me put it this way, Justin. When you are a regular person, just kind of like going through the day to day, like, we hold zero fucking power on something. And saying like, yeah, I enjoy cringe content is a bit different than saying I like to laugh at people's mistakes.
I thought what he said definitely came off in poor taste, honestly. I do also want to mention one of the grossest parts is he was talking towards the end. He was like, "Man, I'm like halfway through the documentary and like it's just not that interesting. I need like a plot twist." And then suddenly,
Talking about the girl when he got with the fucking young girl.
Yeah, he was like, and then suddenly, this Boogie who's gonna pass away in a couple of years. He gets with this like 19-year-old girl, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so good for my movie.
Like, he could, like, there is the opportunity that he could just be joking, which, that can just be a thing. Like, you could just be joking and like not taking it seriously, and that's fine. Like, maybe he just doesn't know how to communicate comedy very well. But
perhaps
whenever you're doing an interview about like your process in making a documentary and you say shit like, yeah, this 50-year-old guy was getting with like a 19-year-old girl, it was great for my film.
Like,
it was
I'll be honest, I watched. He literally watched her get into the bathtub with him. Like, what? Oh my god.
Like I said, my main issue with it was simply like you said, like, treating real people like they were just characters in a movie to frame in a narrative. Because like the documentary that he put forward, like, he describes Boogie as like a good guy with some misplaced things that gets pressured a bit too easily. Like, but the documentary does not frame him that way at all. It frames him as being the manipulator, as being the evil person.
It frames him as a monster. I thought the documentary, it is well made, and I do still like a lot of things about it. But it definitely does feel one-sided. It almost feels like a hit piece in a way. And we kind of confronted him about that. Like, did you mean to make a hit piece? And it's like, no, I wanted to show the good and bad side of him. It's like the only good side was his Magic the Gathering friends talking about how much they loved him, and that was basically it.
And, like, I don't know. He describes Boogie as a friend, but like in our interview, he describes Boogie as a friend, and then whenever he's making the documentary, he makes what is pretty much just the biggest hit piece of any piece of media I've seen in the last, like, I've been alive 25 years. Like, that was just an hour-long, this guy's fucking evil piece that blew up on the internet and ruined any chance of him getting any sort of, like, career on YouTube in the future.
Keep in mind now, hold on a second, that even Boogie himself, that technically they both worked on it, and Boogie told Mike what he wanted into the documentary, And then Boogie watched it, and Boogie was okay with it. And
Okay,
Boogie knew how bad it looked.
Boogie is also a
Boogie-
glutton
Boogie
for
sa-
punishment.
and so-
Boogie loves it when stuff makes him look bad, though.
It's also the fact that
Okay, but-
Mike Klum literally described him as an easily manipulated man who you can push very quickly. Like, not really helping the case there that he signed off on it when you describe him as you can get him to do shit really easily. And very filled with self-doubt is one other thing that he described him as. Very depressed individual. And, like, having struggled with depression in my life in multiple points in it, whenever you're depressed, you just kind of go with the flow. You never fight back against anything.
That's definitely where Boogie's been in a lot of places in his life. And I think that for me, like, I know it's a little bit different for you, Ryan, but for me and Justin, this is, like, definitely a very personal thing because he was someone who we grew up with. So this whole thing is just, like, there's a whole lot that goes into it. And
Yeah.
for anyone watching, I'm sure we didn't mean to go into a big spiel about this, but I'll be honest, that day that we talked to him, it's kind of been weighing on me, and I kind of wanted to wait until, I don't know, things died down and kind of just get it out there and talk about it a little bit.
Yeah. Just wait for the prime time to clout chase.
Wait. We just wait for Mike to come in the recording studio and be like, "Hello, guys. My new documentary is a found footage about your 3 dead bodies. Which one will they find
Dude.
first?"
I'm not gonna lie, like, Justin, I didn't think it was a threat, but Justin, whenever you came out, like, why does he keep bringing up his fucking connections? He kept bringing up how
I
connected
know.
he was throughout YouTube. Like, you're like, what the fuck does he mean by this?
I know people.
That's what shocked me the most about him too was when he brought. I mean, I'm not trying to criticize or whatever, but it was very shocking to hear that this man who runs a multi-million-dollar company, he's very good at it, right? And he makes his first like real big step on YouTube by making these documentaries, and then out of nowhere he talks about how he's had all these connections, and I'm just like, damn, like how long have you been in the YouTube game, my good sir?
Yeah, something there didn't
Yeah,
really
he's
get fully added up.
Yeah, he was talking about, like, his connections, like, Mr. Beast, I think was, like, one that he, like, actually name dropped, saying, like, yeah, he's stressed all the time about,
I don't think he named
like,
anybody.
getting...
I don't, he just kept saying like this one YouTuber, he's got over 10 million subscribers, and that's all he said. He didn't say any names.
He did name drop Mr. Beast. He said I can't name anyone, and then later on, I think he may have accidentally dropped Mr. Beast, but I can pretty much guarantee he did. I remember that pretty fully.
I don't remember, unless it's in there. I mean, if it's in there,
Yeah, he was
play it on
talking
the
about
clip
how
right now. But
yeah, what he said was, like, he might have been giving Mr. Beast as, like, an example of someone he was connected to, but saying, like, Mr. Beast is definitely someone who would be, like, stressed about maximizing, like, their YouTube throughput and, like, viewership and everything else. Like, and, like, I could see, like, Mr. Beast being stressed about that. Like, it is his livelihood and job. But also, like...
It definitely.
I don't know. Whenever you're saying you're well connected and you don't say anybody that you're connected to, it does become a little bit shady to me.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I'm
not trying to paint him as a villain. Like, he is just a human. He can, like, just have, like, he could have a bunch of connections, just not want to talk about the business side of things or reveal any names that he could be connected to because there's, like, an NDA or something. He could have just misspoken when he was talking about the ending of his documentary and just, like, instead of saying, like, oh, yeah, it would be a great ending to my documentary, just thinking back to it instead of it being, like, him suggesting going because it'd be a good ending, like, talking about in hindsight, it was a good ending. Like, that's the best, like, steel man position I could put for that because it's still fucking wrong to have not stepped in and told him no, but, that's at least less morally condemnable than telling a mentally ill man to go and do mushrooms in the forest with some shaman.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, this isn't to say that Boogie has no agency here either. He could have stopped at any moment, but, like, mentally ill man with depression that is easy to manipulate and easy to push, you're doing a documentary on him. you're, I don't want to say like a caretaker or anything at that point, but you at least have some sort of responsibility not to let him go over the edge.
Yeah, I mean it rubbed us the wrong way, like in different varying degrees, but it's still a little chapter of our podcast history. It's something that I don't know. It's not like I'm in the perspective of like, oh, we never should have talked to him. Like, it is what it is. We did it, and we're addressing it a couple, like, 15 or so episodes later, and we're at about the 50-minute mark. So, you guys want to get on to anything like lighthearted or something to give the fans something like happy?
There was riots in Thailand between Filipino ladyboys.
I said funny and happy. Please, anything.
I don't.
That is funny.
No,
The fuck are you talking about?
It's okay. Fine.
Like,
Tell me why it's funny. Tell me why it's funny.
The femboy territory wars are just funny in concept, dude. Like, Thai ladyboys fighting against the Filipino femboys for, like, which curbside they can prostitute on is just funny to me, dude.
This is an actual thing that happened.
Yeah, femboy turf wars.
Yeah.
That is absolutely... Who won?
I don't know. Considering it was in Bangkok, probably the Thai ladyboys.
Man, my money was on the femboys, but I'm glad they pulled out the Dubsky. Proud of them. That's pretty insane.
To be fair, the Filipino femboys were an invasive species, whereas the Thai ladyboys knew like the local geography. They could do guerrilla warfare.
Bro said invasive species. He's not wrong. That's insane.
And they were kind of like kudzu plants in the American South. Like they just like popped up one day and just spread like wildfire.
Oh my god, that is wild. That is
what we're really waiting for is for the Japanese trap to make its way over there and to see how that one competes.
The true trifecta. Oh my god. That is absolutely wild. What about you, Justin? You got anything wacky?
I have AIDS.
He does have AIDS. This is true.
So you were a part of the Bangkok femboy war, huh?
Yeah, it was one hell of a beating.
One hell of a pounding.
One hell of a beat off.
Holy
Just
shit.
one massive circle jerk in the middle of the Thai capital.
How many...
Holding hands the whole way.
How many... Like, I wonder how many people you could really... You guys...
It's like a transmutation circle, dude.
It's like Hands Across America from like
Jesus.
it's like Hands Across America from the 80s, but instead of like holding hands, they're just like it's just a circle jerk.
It's just the ending of Us.
That would be freaking amazing. I mean, not amazing. Like, it's not like that's something I'd want to see, but like,
It's not like that's something I'd be heavily interested in. I'd want broadcast internationally and potentially buy plane tickets and get a passport to go and join in personally. That would never happen.
My thing is, if you were involved and there were two people next to you, like, would you have to be whacking like someone to the left and to the right?
You have two hands. You know, unless you're Yang.
Okay. I do have two hands. I don't know. Seems like a nice, like, I don't know, family friendly activity. Seems kind of fun. Maybe I'll move to Bangkok. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Bangkok.
That reminds me, Family Guy still hasn't gotten canceled, and it finally came back yesterday after a 4-month hiatus, and it's still so average and bad, and I don't know why I'm still watching.
It's still Family Guy. It's Family Guy. You don't watch Family Guy to expect good. You watch Family Guy to have something in the background and to Family Guy is the autism containment unit, okay? Like,
Family Guy's another show that I watched for Justin. 22 seasons. It was worth it though. Like, I love early Family Guy so much, at least up to season 9.
Yeah, early Family Guy is the best, but after the episode Brian dies, it goes downhill from there. It's just terrible.
Dude,
you watch for Stewie's subplots after a certain point, and then he gets worse. and it just becomes unwatchable.
I mean,
I actually got mad when they fucking started doing this thing where like Stewie was getting counseling, and like during his little council meeting, he started speaking his quote unquote real voice. Like, fuck off.
I like that episode. Like, I like it. I think it's kind of fun. I don't hate it. You don't like any. You don't like any time when Family Guy tries to like do character building. Which, to be fair, it's pretty bad. But I don't know. I kind of like it personally.
No. I do. That whole character building, like the whole idea about Brian and like the very beginning when Brian and Stewie started to become friends, and like started to become this dynamic duo was the greatest shit of all time.
When they were on the train.
And like the whole plot of like, yeah, like they can do it well. It's just when they don't do it well often.
Yeah, they did it well, like maybe like twice in the last like 20 years. Which, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and out myself. I couldn't get on Justin's case too much because Family Guy was definitely my Ed and Eddie for like the last 3 years. I don't know if I've gone a day without watching an episode. It is definitely my comfort show.
Like I don't know, comparing the different shows, but I think it's Seth MacFarlane that made it, right?
Yes.
Like I keep getting confused
Yeah.
with Seth MacFarlane and Seth Green. And Seth Green made Robot Chicken.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Seth MacFarlane shows, there's like I think 4 of them. One of them is live action, like a Star Trek ripoff that's actually really fucking
Yeah,
good.
the Orville.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a
Uh,
great show. I'm so sad it got canceled.
I actually never checked it out.
Between like all the Seth MacFarlane shows, the Orville is like high up there, but it did not last. Then there's like number 1 in my opinion, American Dad is the best of the other 3. Number 2 is Family Guy, and then the third is just the Cleveland Show because who the fuck even wanted that one?
The Cleveland Show sucks.
We also have to add Ted to that because Ted is now a series.
Dude, I want to watch that. It got great reviews actually. I kind of want to watch that because I love the first movie.
Yeah.
The second movie sucks all kinds of ass, but the first movie's excellent. In my
I
opinion.
know, right? The second movie has the same villain and the same plot line, or it's a different plot line, but it's the same villain.
It's lazy, dude. It is completely lazy. It is lazy and it's not funny.
The only
Go on.
The only like really clever and fun part from the second film was they try to find the bad guy because he was dressed up as a teenage. He was dressed as Raphael from the TMNT, and they try to like get him out of a line. Like they all lined him up and all in costumes. They try to find him, and they started playing the song that the villain danced to in the first film. And he starts like getting out of the line, starts dancing, and they arrest him. Like that was kind of clever. I thought it was funny. Everything else though was like, okay, this is redundant.
And like it just doesn't work in concept. Like it sucks so bad. But like personally, I find Seth MacFarlane to be very, very funny. And as I stated before, like there's some kind of calming like Nero agent in Family Guy that just has a hold on me. So I don't know, huge fan. Freaking American Dad, I wasn't able to get into. I watched 4 seasons and it was just okay, in my opinion. But I'll try again.
When I say it's the best of Seth MacFarlane, what you should hear is it's above average. You shouldn't take that as a recommendation. You should take that as, it's okay.
I mean, I definitely disagree with that. I think that Seth is a genuinely funny human being, but
Yeah, but his series, like his long-running ones, will eventually make you want to kill yourself. Like that is just a fact of life. If you sit down and watch through Seth MacFarlane from start to finish, like eventually that gets to a point where you black out and wake up on the side of the Golden Gate Bridge with like a police officer asking you to step back.
And I am telling you that I'm immune because I have watched every new episode and even the bad ones that are objectively terrible.
It will happen to you.
No, it will not.
Don't.
Season
Icarus flew too close to the sun. Hubris is a thing.
Justin, you did this to me.
Ian's like, I watch every new episode. Even the poopy ones.
Even the poopy
Not
ones, dude.
the poopy ones.
Yes, dude. They get so bad. Seth can't even do the voice anymore. He can't even do the Peter Griffin voice. I don't know if you've heard it lately. Was that?
Nah, I haven't heard it. I was about to say thank you, John Tron, for that reference I just stole from you. Anyway.
That was a classic John Tron reference. Not gonna lie, bud. But yeah, so it's gotten really bad. But it's we all got our comfort shows, even when they get bad. Freaking you got Ryan watching freaking 12 seasons of mid-ass Scrubs.
There are only 8 seasons. There are only 8.
Mid-looking ass Scrubs. Freaking. I watched freaking first episode, kind of mid. I'm joking. Don't let
When
me.
I say
don't let
there are
me-
only no. Listen, like, anytime you tell any Scrubs fans that there are more than 8 seasons, like they will just deny it. Like,
Oh, okay. So yeah, there's a certain point at
there
which
are
it gets
only
bad.
8 seasons.
I forget.
Basically, the original run, like, it had the perfect ending in the season 8 finale, and then they were like, Scrubs was like a really big hit. We should make like a spin-off. And then they realized that the title wasn't going to actually draw people in, so they just made another season of Scrubs, and it was very shit compared to like the main show, and nobody watched it.
I very much apologize for that. I will not be watching it past season 8 when I inevitably watch the show. Though it is difficult.
You'll-
It's difficult for me to get into like hour-long episodes of 24-episode seasons. I just think that that's kind of annoying. But
Yeah,
one day.
yeah. It's a difficult show to get into, definitely. Like, early Scrubs is very, I don't want to say boring, but kind of boring. Once Dorian starts actually like establishing himself as a doctor and starts going in like the day-to-day like livelihoods of each of the characters and like starts using them instead of trying to introduce them, it gets a lot better. Like, eventually you just start kind of caring about the cast, and that's when it gets both like amazingly funny and terribly painful.
I got you. I will absolutely one day. But I'm sorry for calling it mid. I just wanted to hurt you. It didn't.
Don't apologize. I understand.
It didn't work. But I tried.
Let me just put it this way. I have never listened to The Fray beyond one of their songs, and I can't listen to that song anymore without thinking of a specific scene that makes me break down a little bit.
I mean, it is it might be like probably arguably one of, if not the best song of the last 20 years. So I'm really looking forward to getting to that scene now, because that's How to Save a Life is basically a perfect song.
Yeah. That scene like changes you.
I'm actually kind of excited now. Let me finally finish Doctor Who. My journey is almost complete. Oh my god. I'm so close.
You gotta finish Adventure Time after that too.
I got too many things on the dog. Maybe Justin has the right idea. Cause now
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? You don't have time for everything.
Okay. Yeah, but he picked up Doctor Who. That is a show that has been running for like 50 years.
Ian, you're a fucking retard. I'm sorry.
No, like I'm literally about to like become a monk and live the Justin lifestyle. Like I'm dropping everything I'm watching. It's literally becoming too much.
You're good. Yeah, we go live the Justin life and like sit back in your chair making Eddie references every day long.
I just
Yeah,
I just forget.
Pardon me,
it
miss.
has
Pardon me.
it has 800.
Johnny Woodboy?
It has 8. Yeah, Doctor Who has 39 seasons of 875 episodes at a runtime of 50 minutes. It is quite literally nearly like probably close to 4,000 or 5,000 hours.
You're not even wrong. And I'll be honest, most of that is garbage. Most of that is.
Dude, you're gonna be on your fucking deathbed. Just like, can I get like an extra 5 minutes, Mr. Reaper? You remember that time when the doctor said it's like all wibbly wobbly, timey wimey crap? Like, just think of it like that.
You just put life into perspective. I have given 5,000 hours of my life to the British. What is, like, that is so disgraceful as an American. I'm not the most patriotic person, but, like, that I may as well just, like, revoke my citizenship on that one. I have given them far too much of my time.
Yeah, in total, if you've watched the entirety of Doctor Who, let's see. Let's get the exact number here. It's a 50-minute runtime with 875 episodes. So 50 times 875 divided by 60.
Oh boy.
729 hours divided by 24. 30 days. A whole month of your life is gone.
I'm gonna kill myself. I'm gonna have the Doctor Who theme song playing in the background. That is the Rick and Morty theme song. That is not the Doctor Who theme song. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, that'll be playing at my funeral. Oh my god. Like, okay, it's about the sunk cost fallacy. It is about the concept of how much time do you invest in something in which dropping it would be more beneficial rather than finishing it. Because I got to a point in The Walking Dead. I watched The Walking Dead for like 6 years and it was amazing, and then it started to get bad, and then I still watched for 5 more years because I'm like, well, I'm already here. I may as well finish it. But like, those are hours I'll never get back because that show is like legit.
Hell no, dude.
Garbage at the end.
Like, as soon as the whole Negan saga ended, I quit watching.
I quit watching at Carl's death. Like, at that point, I lost all faith in the series.
That means that Justin's lasted 7 more episodes than you. Proud of you, buddy.
You made it. Good job.
Yeah.
Granted, like every other addict, I did eventually go back and try again just to drop it a second time.
Because
No,
like,
so technically, like the last
Episode I saw, and then Ian has to tell me that the new series is apparently like fixing some of the old
It's
shit
peak.
and like one of the highest rated on fucking TV, and like I'm just sitting here looking at the crack pipe in the corner like, no, I can't do it. Not again.
Technically, when it came to the mainline Walking Dead series, the last episode I saw was when the episode where Jesus died. After that, I'm like, fuck it, I'm tired of this show.
oh, you see, you did actually. You made it like 8 episodes past the Negan saga thing. Yeah, no, it was bad.
Beginning of
Yeah.
the Whisperers arc.
Yeah, though, I applaud Justin for stopping it. I kept watching. Ryan, you're gonna have to pick up that pipe again, buddy, because the new episode came out last night, and it's like top 3 episodes of the entire series.
Yeah, that's great, dude.
Come on,
You
buddy.
just hear
I
the
don't wanna
lighter
go
in Ryan's
back.
microphone.
You're coming back, buddy. Ooh, it's fun. You got the walkie boys, the walkie bitey boys.
I don't want to go back.
You get Daryl Dixon 12 episode spinoff where he grunts and growls for 12 hours.
Oh boy, Daryl Dixon in the middle of Paris.
Dude, I heard that sigh from you, Justin, and it is completely justified. Daryl is the most boring piece of shit, overrated character I've ever seen in my life.
I bet it is.
You're
Like,
gonna
I
get
saw-
fucking
I saw-
destroyed by a bunch of random people.
I saw the advertisements
I like
for
his
it, right?
character.
And then, I like his character too. His
Like-
character's great. It's just after he split from the whole group, it doesn't fucking matter.
Well, I think
I like Daryl's character. I like Daryl's character up until they just made him not talk and go all the time.
Oh yeah,
Like-
yeah.
Like he was great in the early Walking Dead up to like whenever Maggie's sister got like her brains blown out by a police officer. Like
when Beth got
After
when,
that
when,
scene, they
when,
just-
when Beth got shot by Dawn, I need you to start remembering names. Go on.
I'll be honest with you. Like,
you
my
understood
favorite
what I was
part-
saying,
My
did
favorite, like,
but
my favorite, like, interaction
Like-
with Daryl was the whole rivalry between him and his brother Merle.
No, what?
Like, up until Merle's death, like that whole plot line between the two of them was so great.
No, it is okay. I've been saying this for years. Daryl peaked with the scene where he finds Merle's dead body, like as a walker. That is the best scene with that character, and he
Yeah.
never gets better. Never gets as good as that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it's the most emotional driven moment for him in the series. Like, that and him, like, punching Negan are the two things that character, like, actually affected me with. Like, and when he punched Negan, it was anger. Like, why the fuck did you do that? You know what's about to happen now.
And then he was responsible for Glenn's death.
Yeah.
Which people debate that back and forth, but that was
Granted,
that was Daryl's fault.
Yeah, that was, like,
That was-
Negan
that was
gave
surely
fair
Daryl's
warning,
fault.
like, hey, stay in line. You get one. And then he tried to take two, and Negan's like, alright, well, can't have that shit.
Also, people forget about the context leading up to that. Rick's group snuck into Negan's. Someone basically just asked them to do this in exchange for food. So, in late season 6, Rick and his group just go into a compound of people that they don't know, that they've just been told are bad, and then they killed them all while they slept. And Negan was like, "You killed hundreds of my people while they slept, so I'm going to kill one of yours." And he killed Abraham. I'm not meaning to play devil's advocate, but I'm gonna be honest. In the apocalypse, that sounds fair.
Yeah, like, that is quite literally, like, whenever America was like, alright, they killed 9,000 Americans, we want Osama. Like,
It's not much to ask.
that's, like, it's kind of like a not very even trade there. Like, Negan still had a couple hundred to go when he shot the fat bitch. Like,
Oh my god.
Why you gotta disrespect Olivia like that, bro? That was that. Why did she catch us?
look, all I'm saying is that Negan might have had a point when the one fat person in the apocalypse is looking after your food supply, and everyone is quote unquote starving.
Okay, that was
Like-
out of pocket, Ryan. You need to take that shit back, bro. That was out of pocket, bro.
That was great.
How is that? This.
No, you were.
It's a fair assessment. If you're in North Korea, you look at Kim Jong Un, okay?
Oh my god. No, dude, like some of the stuff that Negan said was so out of pocket. I'm gonna be honest. The section of the story with Negan in it is so bad and poorly written. Let's just all be honest. Negan himself is one of the only reasons we kept watching in seasons 7 and 8.
Like, like, Jeffrey Dean Morgan plays that character to fucking perfection. I'll have no one debate me on that. Because if you try to, you're just fucking wrong.
100%. What about you, Justin? Did you like the character?
Oh yeah, I think Jeffrey Dean Morgan played, like Ryan said, he played Negan like perfectly. Like you could not find anyone else more perfect to play Negan.
Yeah. But the show was just so bad at that point. Like, the writing was bad for almost everyone else.
Yeah.
Like, the scene, it felt like they kind of like overcorrected when people were talking about how brutal the execution scene was. Because after that, it got very safe.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we got to see Glenn's eye pop out of his fucking skull. And then Negan mocked him and the audience for
He
it.
looked into our eyes.
And people were people were disgusted and like posting about it on Twitter and shit, and so the producers of The Walking Dead and AMC were like, well, we can't have that again.
No, like, okay, so...
And after that, The Walking Dead just kind of, like, its soul died.
Well, yeah, because if I remember correctly, some of the showrunners were saying that they kept on getting, like, made fun of by Game of Thrones fans because there was such a difference in, presentation and quality and just budget. So they wanted to make Glenn's death more disgusting than anything on Game of Thrones. And then after that, they just never go there again. Every death is it just feels like casual, like PG-13 violence.
Yeah, like, Glenn's death, like, that entire episode, I will say, like, that episode is the best episode of The Walking Dead in terms of, like, just emotional value. Like, there are so many people I've talked to that say they dropped the show after that episode because of the feelings that, again, they're like, oh, so it did its job.
Yeah.
Like, it made you so disgusted you could not look. Like, that was the point of the episode. Pick it the fuck up again.
Yeah, but
just to at least give it the respect it deserves.
Like I'll be honest, Abraham's death is R-rated. I would go so far as to say that Glenn's death may honestly be like one of the only X-rated pieces of violence in TV history. It is that like disturbing.
Dude, him just like sputtering out Maggie, I'll find you as he's just like trying to keep consciousness was just like it was so disgusting. Like the only time I've felt that level of disgust at like the graphics of a death is like when we were watching Shogun earlier today and that man got thrown in the boiling pit. Like it was brutal.
Oh shit, okay, okay, the podcast is running a little long. Let's talk about Shogun for 1 minute. I would like to.
It is one of the best depictions of Shogunate era Japan. We've only watched one episode so far. If it changes later on, don't add us. But like the level of brutality in just episode 1 of Shogun is it cannot be matched. Like it is just a brutally honest look at life in Sengoku era Japan.
Yeah, and for anyone who hasn't heard of it, it is based. It's a live action TV show with a huge budget, based on a book from a long time ago. I believe the 70s, somewhere around that area. It got a miniseries in 1980, and it's good, but it's pretty dated. So they made a new series. It's not gonna have a season 2 or anything. It's airing right now. Only 10 episodes, and it's going to be a complete story. And if episode 1 is any indication, it's going to be an absolutely wild ride because it is incredibly harrowing and disturbing so far. Like it's great. I highly recommend Shogun to pretty much anyone, especially Game of Thrones fans if you like violence.
Yeah, Justin, just to put in perspective to try and get you onto at least this one because you need to see this. It's not really a spoiler, but because it's just episode 1 and one of the characters' introductions. This like feudal lord is obsessed with like the moment of death and the helplessness of people in it, and so he orders for like a Protestant European to be thrown inside of a boiling pot, and just listens to him scream. And afterward, he goes like, "That guy lasted really long. A very strong warrior. Write me a poem about him."
Damn.
Yeah.
And then just listens to some dude give like a haiku about this dude who just got boiled alive. And there's like, that was great. We should do this again sometime.
It is so disturbing. It is wild. Also, no, I'm not gonna say that. Highly recommended. It literally just started, and it's the highest. I think it's the highest rated show on TV right now, and it's getting tons and tons and tons of buzz. It's highly recommended. Definitely.
Like, it's one of those shows where if it crashes and burns, I'm crashing and burning with it. Because it's only 10 episodes, so it's not like a huge fucking like sit through. It's just one of those things like, yeah, this is fucking great. Oh shit, I'm disgusted. Anyway, we're coming on an hour 20. Before we start up another fucking conversation, we should probably end it now. I have work in the morning. I'd rather not go there and be like, man, that was a mistake last night.
Yeah. And second episode with Justin back. I thought it went good. We got through like a smattering of a bunch of different topics, none of which I was like expecting. This was a very scattershot, random feeling episode.
Yeah. Like earlier today we were talking about like what we were expecting to come in here with, and it was like, yeah, we're probably going to talk about like the Tyrion versus Crow fight and Ruby. We did touch on Shogun for like 2 minutes. But like those are the two things we were talking about, and then we touched on like basically none of it.
But them's the breaks. That's
I can't wait for
the Think Tank.
I can't wait for this episode to go live and have 400 people watch this thing and say it sucks, like last episode.
Not
Thank you,
everyone's-
thank you very much, Shingilla's fans.
Well,
You really had to just throw us under the fucking bus right at the end of there, huh?
wait, what?
Like, we nearly made it, and then Justin's like, hey, yeah, so Shane Gillis fans, come back and kick us when we're down. I like it.
I mean, I like it. I liked it. The thing is that
Spit on me.
we got the view. So like the dislikes, it's whatever. You can dislike it all we want. I'm still whacking off to the view count. I mean that literally.
Good night, everybody.